What up, everyone? Back for another video. This time around, we're going to talk about pre-orders. What are the best companies to pre-order from? Also, what are the best companies to order from? Now, the number one way to do things is just to go into the store, but not everyone has that option. Not everyone lives in rural communities where they have these stores available. So a lot of people have to shop online, and sometimes you're better off that way, especially when it comes to pre-orders. You really can't do those in-store nowadays, so most of it has to be done online, but there are a lot of things to look for and a lot of things to look out for. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to go through all the stores that you have options for, tell you what the best ones are, and tell you what the worst ones are. Basically just weigh the pros and cons of each situation. I would love to sit here and tell you like, hey, here's the best one, and I will tell you what my favorite one is, but unfortunately all these companies have exclusives that they get from Funko or from other companies that you can only get them through that company. So unfortunately, you can't just avoid these companies altogether. You do have to order from them eventually if you want those exclusives. So we'll go through each one, talk about the pros and cons, and I'll just give you some tips here and there about that. So again, once again, this is about pre-ordering, but in essence, it's also about ordering in general. So the first one I'm going to talk about, in no specific order, is Target. And honestly, I'll say this is my favorite one to both pre-order from and order from for multiple reasons. One, you get free shipping on everything, anything and everything, with some very minor exceptions. You have to do a minimum order of like $35, which really isn't much. Most companies want you to do a minimum of $50, but most of the time you can order individual products, free shipping. All you need is a Target card, and anyone can get that. It works just like a debit card. It's not a credit card, and you get a discount on top of that and free shipping. So why not? That's just an excellent thing right off the bat. Next, they're well packaged. They didn't always used to be from Target, but I feel like Target kind of noticed that, and they realized it's within their best interest to take better care of their products. Because when people got damaged things, they would just return it to the store, then they would be put on the shelves as damaged, and then they would have to be discounted, and I feel like they realized it was within their best interest financially to take better care of products. And I've noticed that over the years, because I've been ordering from them for, I don't know, like a decade or something like that. So nowadays, they double box things. If you order a pop figure, for example, they'll put the normal size pop box, bubble wrap that, and then put it in an even bigger box. So most of the time when I get mail, I get this huge package, even though it's like a small figure. And they do the same with action figures and frames and other things like that. They really take good care of that. The other good thing about Target is that a lot of the things often end up in stores. So if something does happen, it's pretty easy to exchange it a lot of times, even with exclusives. Now, here are some of the downsides to it. The downsides for pre-ordering from Target is they don't put that many on their website. They put a very small amount, so they sell out extremely quick. And again, I think they learned this in recent time. When COVID hit and everything got delayed, there were so many orders that got canceled and moved around, and numbers weren't what they were supposed to be. So I think they intentionally only put a small number of pre-orders. That way they can make sure they fulfill all the orders, and that way they can also make sure they have some in stores. Because ideally, at the end of the day, they want you in their store, so they always want to make sure they have some for that too. Now, those can go quickly, but they don't have exact release dates anymore, so you have good odds of just running into them, just in the wild. Because normally when they have exact pre-sale dates, people will line up in the morning and get there at like 8 a.m. and buy them up. So Target's kind of learned from that and avoided that, so you have a good opportunity to do that. One thing I've always done from this company, if I do get a pre-order, if I'm lucky enough to get it before it sells out, I always order at least 2. That way, if one of them ends up damaged, I just keep the one that isn't. A worst case scenario, like they both arrive in perfect condition, great. You just go and return one of them, and no harm, no foul. You get your money right back. They put it right back on the shelves. It's not damaged. No one seems to lose money, so it seems to work out just fine. And, it's pretty rare that 2 items would both show up damaged. So that's what I would do. I would order 2 of them, and there's so many Targets around, it's very easy to make a return or an exchange or anything like that. So that's my personal favorite one there. The only downside, as I stated, is they have very few pre-orders online for things, so they do sell out really quickly. But yeah, that's the gist on Target. Next, let's go to Entertainment Earth. Now, this one is almost my favorite because they do something that no other company does. What they do is they guarantee mint condition, guaranteed. No other company of this scale does this on the entire planet. I'm sure there are small mom and pop companies that do that. I'm sure someone can think of someone that does that, but no big companies do that whatsoever because it's just not cost efficient. And I'm still kind of shocked that they do, and I'm just waiting for the day that they say, okay, normal mint condition guarantee, because they have to be losing a lot of money on that. I just ran into a situation with them where one of my figures showed up and it wasn't destroyed, but it definitely wasn't mint. It had damage on it. So I contacted them. They took a while for them to get back to me, but they gave me two options. They said I can send it back, and if there's still products left, they can send me a replacement, or I can do a slight discount. And I haven't heard back the exact amount, but if I had to guess, it'd probably be like 10%, which is good that they give the option, because sometimes, obviously, if something shows up completely broken, yeah, you want a new one. But if it shows up like Pops, for example, like a little dent on the cardboard, it's not enough to like go through the trouble for a full return. Sometimes you just want a little discount on it, so it's good to have that option. The problems, the downside with Entertainment Earth, they charge shipping on an individual basis, which is a huge problem here, because when you order small pop figures, a lot of times they're only like $12 or $15. The shipping on each one is usually $12 to $15. So you pay almost as much in shipping as you do on the product. They really haven't figured out shipping well enough. They charge way too much on shipping, and when you pre-order stuff, everything comes out at a different time, so there's really no way to save on shipping. The only thing I've ever done is I usually wait for them to be released, because Entertainment Earth exclusives, they usually don't sell out with the pre-orders. Usually. On a rare occasion they do. Most of the time they actually make it to the store, and I'll wait a while, and then I'll buy a few of them, get over $50 and get free shipping that way. But you do run a big risk there, because sometimes things do sell out, and sometimes the dates aren't always exact, so you can miss them. But that is an option. The other thing you can do, they do have coupons available, and they have free shipping coupons, and from what I've seen, that does work. They always have the thing where if it's over 50, you get free shipping, but recently I did a thing where I used a coupon code that gave me free shipping, and although the items had different release dates, so far from what I've seen, they've sent them to me without charging me additional shipping. So that is an option. They do have coupon codes for that. The other downside to Entertainment Earth, they have Entertainment Earth exclusives. The other thing they're known for is the Previews exclusives. That's not their company. Previews is a separate thing that you can't buy directly from. You have to get them through another company. So the good thing about it is they carry them. The bad thing about it is these are often found in stores. Any like local comic shop, anywhere that's not like Target or a big name company, anywhere that's like a mom and pop shop, order tons of stuff from Entertainment Earth and from Previews, because that's who Previews sells to. So it's very easy to find these items in store when they get released. So that's kind of a reason where I haven't always done pre-orders that way. What it is good for, a good thing to do, is Entertainment Earth has so much stuff. It's really good for like statues, for things that cost over $50 by themselves. Absolutely. That's a great thing to do, because you won't have to pay shipping. If each individual item is over $50, it'll automatically qualify for that free shipping. So you can feel free to pre-order things that way, and they do guarantee things mint. So as I said at the beginning of this video, there's certain situations that work for certain companies. So if you're looking for statues or big products, I got the NECA just released their new Ninja Turtles, the big tall ones, like 16-inch ones. Pre-ordered from that company because why not? Free shipping, guaranteed mint, that's a perfect deal. But when you're talking about the smaller, like pop figures, smaller action figures, smaller things like that in that like $10, $15, $20, $30 range, I probably would avoid pre-ordering from them, because shipping costs alone make it so expensive, and you can often find them in stores or on eBay for just the original price without shipping, because people order them in such mass. So Entertainment Earth, good for quality, but bad for shipping costs and other things like that. All right, on to the next one. GameStop. Positives about GameStop. You can pre-order in-store, which a lot of places you really can't do that anymore. And you can ship to store for free. So that's great. You don't have to worry about shipping, and you get it directly to the store. And you can't really do it as much online. Their website isn't the best. Those kinds of things sell out pretty quickly. So there's not always an opportunity to get the exclusive stuff, but if you're doing just generic stuff that's not exclusive and not going to sell out, you can get it shipped to the store for free. But in my experience, downside to GameStop, they very often show up damaged. Almost all the pre-orders I've got from GameStop has had some damage to it. Nothing significant, but small dents and bends and things like that, to the point where I feel bad like not taking it over such small damage, but at the same time, I don't want any damage. That's the reason I do pre-order it, because I want it in mint condition. I don't want it to have traded hands with a bunch of people with fingerprints and dents all over it. That's the whole reason I do pre-order it. But in my experience, GameStop is not super great about it. And when they pre-order stuff, they only send that amount to the store. So if you get something that's damaged, it shows up there. There's often not an opportunity to exchange it for anything because they don't order more than the pre-orders. So the people pick it up for the pre-orders, and then there's nothing left to exchange it to. So you either can just deal with the damage, or you can return it right there. So I feel like they're not the best as far as pre-orders, but, you know, free shipping is always good. Next, eBay. Now, this is one that people do a lot for pre-orders because there's just really good deals on eBay. Something about eBay is they don't guarantee mint, but technically they do. And let me explain. So when someone sells you something, if it's not as described, if you can pretty much return something for just about any reason eBay-wise. People always put on their profile like, hey, we don't accept returns. Like, that's complete BS. They have to accept returns. That's part of eBay's terms of agreement. You have to. So it doesn't matter how much people say that, they do have to accept returns. And also something most people don't know. Anytime someone lists something, they have to put the item condition. And it's usually pretty basic: new, used, slightly used, or whatever it is. Most people will put new. When they put that, it automatically puts a small description in there. If you click on the condition, it'll show you. It'll say new, and in parentheses, it'll say unopened and undamaged condition. Most people don't realize that, and I've run into this 10 million times where something shows up with like dings and dents, and I say, hey, this isn't new, and they're like, hey, I never said mint condition in the description. It's like, well, actually, you did. When you select new, you are saying that. Most people don't realize that. So that's something you can always look for. As long as someone says new, you pretty much have a guarantee of mint condition, and if not, eBay will give you your money back. The downside to that is it's usually individual people, which is kind of a bummer. Because when it's big corporations, if they send you a damaged product and they lose a few dollars because of it, who cares? It's their fault. They shouldn't have done it. When it's individual people, it kind of sucks. Because obviously, once again, if it shows up completely like haggard, yeah, get your money back, no big deal. But when it shows up with like little dings and dents that probably happened during shipping, you have like a more of a moral conundrum you have to deal with there. You can get your money back, but you got to realize that that individual person has to pay for it. They already paid to ship it to you, which they're not going to get that money back. Then they have to pay to ship it back to them. So they're out like 10 or 20 bucks for no reason. So it's kind of a bummer, and that's what I really don't like about eBay. I know I can get my money back. I just feel bad making individuals pay for it when it's not always their fault. Things to be aware of. eBay pre-orders are fine. I've had great experience with it, but beware anything that will take over 60 days. eBay gives you 60 days to file a claim. So if something goes wrong and you don't disagree, eBay will step in and give you your money back, guaranteed. But if you wait over that 60 days, you're shit out of luck. So beware of people that say it's going to take over 60 days, or if a date gets pushed back, or if they email you saying, hey, there was a delay at the shop, it won't be till this date. Make very sure you are aware of the 60-day cutoff, and if they're even getting close to it, tell them, hey, I need it by this date or I'm canceling. No matter what they say, because it's just not worth the risk. There's too many scammers out there. Once you go even one day past it, eBay washes their hands clean of it and you're out of money. There's nothing you can do about it. So things to be aware of. If it's under that 60 days, I think eBay is a perfect way to get some pre-orders. Next, Hot Topic. Hot Topic has the same ship-to-store option as well as online. You can do a ship-to-store option, but it doesn't work with all products. It has to be within certain ranges. So it has to be at a warehouse close to a store. It only works with certain products. Most of the time it works just fine, but sometimes it doesn't. I've run into that problem a lot of times where I want to ship to the store, but one item in my basket can't do it. So I have to pay for shipping. And it's like, oh, that kind of sucks. So that's something you can do. And some of the downsides to it, one thing is, sorry, I should go back. I'm getting all confused. Good things about it is that you get to check your product before you take it home. They have a policy is when you come to pick something up, they say open it right here, make sure it's good before you walk out of the store, because then you might not be able to exchange it the same way. So you can look at it right there and have a witness right in front of you that's you can see like, oh, this is damaged, this isn't okay, tell them to send another one or give me my money back. So that's good. Problems with that, though, is that there's not always an alternative if there is something damaged. Same with, can't remember the store I said. Was it GameStop? Yeah, same with GameStop. When you order something to the store, it's just your item. They don't send extra stuff with it. So if something is damaged, they don't have something right there to exchange. So there's limited options on what you can do. A lot of the times, it's basically accept what the product is or get a full return of your money back, which you usually don't want to do. It's not always an option to send it back and send you a new one. You can start the whole process over again, but again, that's a bit of a hassle. Another problem with Hot Topic is their website's rarely up to date. When things come out, the release dates are always off. They don't show up on the website when they are released. They kind of pop up at random times. And same with Target, they have a very limited amount of pre-sales on there. So the website is very, very difficult to get pre-orders that way. Other products, no problem. As far as exclusives for Hot Topic, I've always found it best to go in the stores. Same as Target, they always order much more than they show for pre-orders online because they want you in the store. They make sure some products are in there. Difficulty with that is that a lot of the employees are on the up and up, and they know when products are coming, which can be good, but can be bad. You can get to know the employees, and they've always been really friendly, and they always kind of like slip you the underhand deal, which is great, and they'll tell you when things are going to show up, so you could show up to the store early, but that's the problem. If you don't want to wake up early and wait in line, there's other people that will, and they'll tell those people, and they'll do that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. So pros and cons for Hot Topic. Next, Walmart. Walmart, I really don't have anything good to say about Walmart. Walmart is kind of the bottom of the barrel. I'm still shocked that they get exclusives, but they do. They obviously have good partnerships with it, but nearly impossible to pre-order. They have barely anything on their website. It's honestly, they rarely even show exclusives on their website. And when they do, it's just all over the place. Things are constantly lost, and they're almost always damaged, even in the store. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to get a 10-inch pop and there's a slice line right at the top because someone with a box cutter went over to open the big box and just cut right through it, to the point where Funko now puts tape over their boxes saying don't open with the box cutter, because so many morons have done that. And I see something in mint condition and I look at the top, I'm like, thanks a lot, dickweed, thanks for cutting my box in half. So almost always damaged, and no one knows anything there. People there don't know their ass from their elbow. No offense to anyone that works at Walmart, but the collectibles are in the electronics section, which doesn't make sense, first of all. The electronics salesman knows about TVs and electronics, but they don't know about collectibles. They barely know what's there, and their stock is always off, like so many terrible things. So they have good exclusives, but every time I see a pre-release for like a Walmart exclusive, I just like roll my eyes, and it's like, well, there's something I'm never getting. Like, I'm never going to see that. Or if I order it on eBay, but almost always damaged. So really wouldn't ever trust Walmart. That's like the very bottom of the list, but it's there. Next, Amazon. So Amazon has free shipping on a lot of orders. Most of their things they have free shipping on, which is good. Also, Amazon carries other people's exclusives, which is also really good. They have tons of Amazon exclusives, and they rarely sell out because they order so many of them. So they do a good job at ordering enough to satisfy the customers, and they usually hang out for a while. They don't sell out right away, usually. There are some exceptions, though. So that's great. You can order exclusives from other companies and get them at the regular price, not an upcharge price, and then get free shipping on that, which is great. Problems I've had with Amazon: almost always damaged. Almost always some kind of damage. Not horrible, but it's damage that it had to have been damaged before, because they do a good job packaging it. They double box it, and I'll open it up, and there's damage in there, which means that they had a damaged item and packaged it up. And at that point, who cares how well you packaged it if it's already damaged when you put it in there? So that's a problem I've run into, but they do offer refunds and exchanges and things like that, but there's problems with that as well. Amazon doesn't keep prices steady. If things are selling out and they become rare, the price goes up. and which makes sense. I get it. But the problem with that is if you ordered something at the regular price, then by the time you get it, the price is much higher than when you ordered it. You ask for an exchange and you try to go do it online, but it won't let you because the item now is at a different price point, so it won't let you trade them out. So it makes it much more difficult. So there's not an option to get a replacement a lot of times. Sometimes there is, but sometimes there's not because of that. But they do make it pretty simple if there is that option. You can box it up. They'll pay for the shipping label, and they have Amazon drop-off zones, which is great. You don't have to go super far, and they do all of it for you. So I've had good experiences with it where I've had a replacement, no problem, and had other experiences where they can't do a replacement, and they'll refund my original money, but it's like, well, I don't want the original money. The whole reason I pre-ordered it was to buy it at that price. Now, if you refund the money, that's great, but now I got to pay twice the price to get the original item back, and that doesn't work for me. So that's what the good pros and cons of Amazon. Next, FYE. Same as Walmart, I really don't have much nice to say about these people. They're just crazy overpriced. I don't know how this company has stayed in business this long. This company's been around a long time. Back when they were just selling like CDs and movies and stuff like that. I remember back in the day when they just had that before they had collectibles and stuff. And they were just crazy marked up prices and no one shopped there. And I just couldn't understand, how do you stay in business because no one's paying these prices? Same with their collectibles. Same with Funko. Same with action figures. All that stuff. Crazy markup prices. They do sell exclusives from other companies, but it's like double the price. And they don't put prices on anything, and that's probably why. I always have to go to the front and ask what the price is, and they're always the same. They're like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's like 20 or 30 because that's what most of them are priced at. And I say, yeah, I figured that too, but I wanted to check. And they look it up, and they're like, oh, no, it's like 50. And I'm like, you fucking kidding me? $50 for that shit? No way. So that's always the case there, and they're almost always damaged. The stuff just sitting on the shelf is just beat to shit. So I don't understand how that company stays in business. I personally haven't tried to pre-order from them because their pre-orders, their exclusives have never been that great. I've never seen anything from there where I'm like, oh, I need to have that. So I haven't personally tried that, but I haven't wanted to because I don't want to pay that huge upcharge. So if anyone has any positive experiences from FYE, I'd love to hear them, but I personally haven't. Last but not least, Funko itself. Lots to say about Funko. One great thing about Funko. Funko carries all the exclusives. Exclusives from everywhere, which I think they've only recently done because I went to their site regularly and I would always click on exclusives because that's all I care about, and it would show the Funko shop exclusives. Now when you click on it, it shows exclusives from everywhere. The last order I got from them had Funko exclusive, it had a Hot Topic exclusive, had an Amazon exclusive, had just like the specialty series. So they have everything now because I think it all goes through their warehouse, which is great. And it's also great that it's not marked up. Usually when a third party sells someone else's exclusives, they mark it up a little bit more because they need to make a profit too. Funko doesn't do that. They actually sell it at the normal price you would get in the store. And I don't think a lot of people know about that, so they really don't sell out super quickly, which is great. I think that's fantastic. Another thing I really like about it is they have alternate payment options. A lot of these websites do, by the way, but one I've always done is with Funko. They have like Afterpay and Klarna, things like that. I know most people don't care about that, but I really do. I really like those payment plans because it makes it so much easier. It's not credit, so you're not worrying about your credit or anything like that. And it's not a credit card, so you're not worried about a bill, one more thing you got to remember to pay. It's something that just automatically gets deducted. They right away split it up into 4 payments or sometimes more, and they just do it every 2 weeks, which is how often I get paid. I think that's fantastic. It's essentially like if I have an order that's $100 and they're like, don't worry about it. We'll just take $25 out of each paycheck you get. Don't worry. It's all done. I love that. I don't have to remember anything. I don't have to worry about missing a date. I don't have to worry about interest. It just makes it so much easier and it's so streamlined. I love that. Now, let's talk about the negatives of Funko. Funko does not guarantee anything. There are no guarantees there. They are probably the worst when it comes to damage. I've gotten more damaged items from Funko than probably any other company. It's almost guaranteed that something's going to have some damage. And the the worst part about it is they package it well. They do the double boxing, so it's all packaged very well. And I know it's not happening during shipping because this shipping container arrives perfect. But then I open them up and there's all kinds of damage in there, which means that they purposely had a damaged item, sent it to me anyway. And when you contact them, it's always the same thing, like, hey, we sell these for out-of-box collecting, which is like, that's fucking BS, man. You know you don't do that. You just don't want to take responsibility. So if there's damage like that, like dents, they wash their hands of it, won't care. But there are certain situations where they will. If it's not dents, if it's anything outside of that, they will actually take care of it. I had one that had water damage on it. How it had water damage is beyond me. It blows my fucking mind. How did this have water damage? It was someone had a drink when they were packaging it and just dipped it in there and was like, oh, well, I'll just put it in there anyway. Blew my mind. So when I sent them pictures of that, then they agreed to replace. Not the whole thing, just the box, which I think is fine. I think that's a really good solution. I think they should give that solution to other companies because it doesn't change the rarity of anything. They're not giving you a new product. All they're doing is sending you a new box. You take the figure out, put it in the new box. No harm, no foul. I think that's a good solution. So they did that for the water damage one, but that's so far the only situation I've seen. I'm sure there are other situations, but if it's dings and dents, they won't do that. So, yeah. The other thing that Funko doesn't do is pre-orders. They don't do pre-orders of any kind. They say coming soon. They'll show you what's coming, but it'll just show up on the site. Which, you know, honestly, I don't really mind because it's kind of the same thing when you think about it. The whole point of a pre-order is to lock it in. If you basically pay for it and it comes when it comes. If there's no pre-orders, there's just a release date, it's technically the same thing. You got to show up online at the time of its release, whether it's a pre-order or the actual release. So it doesn't really matter to me. As long as there's just a point to buy it, you have to be there for. Like, it makes no difference. If I bought it 6 months ago and it's coming today, or if I bought it yesterday, really doesn't make a difference to me. So I don't mind it that much, but just something to notice. So that's pretty much it. That's all the shops that I thought were worth mentioning. Those are the main ones that get exclusives. As always, with any collecting advice, most of it's for beginners, as always, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. If there's anything I missed, if anyone's had any experiences with it, even if it's agreeing with me or contradictory, doesn't matter, let me know in the comments. It's all about helping each other. So if there's something I didn't mention that you think is useful, please mention it in the comments. And as always, thank you to the people that always weigh in and make these videos better. I really do appreciate it. I read every single comment, so thank you. Other than that, see you on the next video. Not sure what it'll be, but it'll be something. So, thank you all for watching and supporting. Love you all. Peace.